Welcome everybody. Tap Out Talk proudly presents Battle of the Belts 9 here on Saturday night, January 13th, 2024 from Norfolk, Virginia. Our commentators on the evening are going to be Tony Schiavone, Kevin Kelly, and Nigel McGuinness. Let's get in. First up, we actually start off right at the top of the hour with the action right in the parking lot, with the AEW World Tag Team Championship being defended in a unique fashion tonight, with the champions Ricky Starks and Big Bill versus Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara. Not really any official announcements for this matchup, no records, no entrances. We just went to them brawling in the parking lot, and we had multiple referees for this match on hand. We had Bryce Remberg and Paul Turner because of the action being all over the place. We start out with Sammy, who runs Starks and Bill over with a golf cart. Little flashback to what happened to him many years ago. Sammy tries to get a cover on both men, but they kick out. Sammy then now checks on Jericho, who is tossed into some bushes near the arena by Big Bill. Sammy rams Bill headfirst in to the walls of a production truck, and Jericho is back up now, trying to lend a hand to fight Bill as he fights them off. Bill then takes a book bag as he rams it over the head of Sammy. And it turns out the book bag is actually filled with bricks, which was inside as Bill reveals them. Big Bill tries throwing a brick at Sammy, but Sammy dodges it and goes through the car window parked nearby. That poor stand-byer, never seen it coming. Sammy and Jericho do a double suplex on Bill onto the roof of the car, and then it turns out that the car belongs to Rhett Titus, and he just yells, screaming at Chris Jericho, blaming him for everything these days. Jericho knocks him out with the Judas effect right towards the car. Jericho grabs Sammy and whips him and it hits him with a slippery when wet sign after being dumped into a laundry bin by Jericho. This as they battle into the arena. Sammy comes back with a plunger to the face on Ricky Starks. It was gross in a way. Hopefully that was a new plunger, not a used one. Starks tosses a Christmas decorations at Jericho before being strong whipped into a steel gate for a near fall. They're fighting and they're moving on. Jericho hits Stark in the face with a copy machine, and then Sammy's picture comes into the printing as soon as that happens. Kind of a comic moment. Jericho holds it over Sammy's face and then punches him silly. The action soon heads into the hallway where there's some catering area. As they walk back with catering, doesn't look like anything but some fruit and some minor food there tonight. But no WWE or AEW wrestlers are present, despite the rumors that people are always back in catering and not actually on the show. Meanwhile, Jericho is sent crashing to a round table. We see Starks head into a picture-in-picture commercial break here, because I forgot Battle of the Belts does do things that way like a normal show. We are back, and as Sammy is tossed into a wall and he runs into it over with a super kick to Big Bill. Sammy goes for a fire extinguisher. There's a lot that comes into play, and this match is just all over the place with pandemonium gone wild, and it's crazy. We fast forward a little bit. We get a lot of Jericho coming out into the crowd, and they start fighting out to the arena. Jericho has mixed reactions from the crowd. I felt like AEW has handled Chris Jericho and his recent controversy very well. They've kept it away from the wrestling action. Wednesday night, since it was the initial in Daly's place, they just played his music throughout the fight, leading into a storyline that made sense since they had a random brawl on Wednesday that leads into this matchup tonight being a random brawl, keeping most of it out of the arena. But Sammy's there to counter those boos that Jericho's getting, interacting with the crowd, and they turn to cheers pretty soon enough in the Daly area. So ultimately, someone hits Jericho as Jericho and Big Bill are battling towards a announcer table near ringside. Someone smacks Jericho in the head as Big Bill powerbombs Jericho through a table. We gotta find out, who was it? Who's the guy who hit Jericho? It turns out it was Takeshita basically, meanwhile, smacks him, and we're thinking, okay, there's some involvement here. Meanwhile, Sammy and Ricky are fighting on a beam structure on the outside of the area near the Titantron, if you will, in the entrance ramp. And in that structure, Sammy climbs all the way up to the top, reminding me of a Jeff Hardy type stunt from TNA days. And then some serious height there from way above the Titantron. And then he takes a flying senton all the way through the air. And he hits. And just as he's about to smack Ricky Starks all the way at the bottom, Powerhouse Hobbs saves Ricky Starks in time, pulling him away. And Sammy lands back first into the structure. Starks then goes for the cover, the 1, the 2, and the 3. It is Starks and Big Bill at the 18-minute mark. Man, we are almost halfway through the show already. So we're going to get some shorter matches here coming up. But I like this matchup. I think the right person won. They were supposed to retain these titles, adding to their legacy. But I do like the idea that we had a little just all over the place brawl. It didn't seem overly too chaotic, but it was fun. It reminded me of the old school WWF hardcore matches back when it was very, very early in the Attitude Era. So it was just a good little fun brawl, kind of all through the arena. Did the purpose of getting a good win for Big Bill and Ricky Starks over Jericho and Sammy. Next up, we've got a little return promo for Serena Deeb, but then fast forwarding through that, we got a championship match for the TBS Championship with Julia Hart coming in with an 18-1 record in 2023, going against Anna Jay with an overall career record of 58-34. Mike Posey's on hand to referee this one. We get a nice lockup as Julia is smirking, and we don't know what quite she's thinking. Anna with a few strikes and a takedown before hitting a flipping neck snare from the corner. Julia's head's rammed in the corner, but does not get to the second one. And then she reverses a move and is back on offense. Julia with some kicks in the midsection before being reversed by a back heel kick. Anna misses a side step kick, and both of these ladies exchange blows before Julia hits Anna with her taped up right shoulder, attacking the limb. The announcers do a good job here tonight, talking about how if you tape up a limb, a leg, an arm, whatever, that it is a target for your opponent. And I like that kind of psychology kind of being tossed in. So good job. I always enjoy when the announcing does a good job leading us through the thoughts and processes of the match that we see in the ring. So then we're back as Anna is fighting with one arm. Anna with a shot into her right arm in the face of Julia. And then basically at this point we get some kicks, a backstabber, and a cover attempt as Julia kicks out at a 1 and a 2. Julia with a nice STO sweep takedown. She picks up a near fall. Julia rolls over the top of Anna after being tripped up. Anna with another near fall before applying the Queen Slayer. Loving that move. However, Julia reverses said move and applies a rear naked choke from the behind. Anna comes to her feet to break free, and she hits a flatliner. And at that point, we basically get Anna that picks up another near fall as that kick is reversed, and Julia applies the Heartless Submission, holds to force a tap out for the win via submission, 9-minute marks, and retaining her title tonight, Julia Hart. Very good match, fun, about 9 minutes again in length. Didn't overstay its welcome, but it definitely showcased. I like their approach with Julia Hart in this TBS Championship. I feel like they're doing a good job developing a young star, and I'm also glad to see Anna Jay getting some, competitive nature here, even if it is on Battle of the Belts. I always liked Anna Jay's work, so I feel like her and Julia Hart put together a fun little quick mid-match for the card. Backstage, we get some footage shown of Team Jarrett from earlier in the day as Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal are still having some issues. Jarrett still wants Lethal to get lost basically. Lethal continues to stand his ground with the argument. There could be a little bit of a breakup here of the group. However, I can, see that goal playing out in weeks to come. And at this point, we then get a little bit towards our final main event here. And really quick, before we get to that main event, I just want to say thank you guys so much for everything you do for me. Even sharing this with a friend that might enjoy it, or subscribing to the channel if you consider that. However, just hitting that like button at minimal just helps me out so much. Anyway, thank you again. Hey, check us out at a couple platforms. TheFansOfProWrestling.com, Wrestling Fans Inside Podcast. You're going to get myself, Will, John, Carlos, Heather, and the whole team getting takes each week. Also, you're going to get a little bit more over on the Twitter Xverse at the Bryan Atkins. Let's get in. We get into the main event as the AEW International Championship kicks off. And I didn't think this matchup was going to be in the main event. Silly me, I thought the tag match was going to be in the main event tonight. However, they decided to end with a beloved champion in Orange Cassidy. And he's really put his stamp on this International Championship for, years now, it seems. But Orange Cassidy's coming in with a 2-0 record in 2024, but a 40-1 record overall. Preston Vance coming in with a 1-0 record in 2024, so somebody's going to end that streak tonight. Stephon Smith is your referee on hand, and at this point we get right into the match. And right before that happens, the Undisputed Kingdom of Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Roderick Strong come out. They come out with their steel chairs, much like they did at World's End pay-per-view, and they simply sat to watch what unfolds. Earlier on Collision, there was a challenge that's saying that Preston Vance wins this title tonight, that he will give Roderick Strong a title shot. So that kind of sets up our main event to what happened here. The boys have, again, steel chairs, and in the bell rings, Preston hits Cassidy with a lariat, sends him rolling out the ring. Preston tries to roll him back into the ring for a cover, but not quite there. Cassidy comes out of nowhere with the orange punch right away. And is this match over already? Not quite. It's just enough to stagger him a little bit. And Cassidy eventually sets him up for a top rope. Preston pushes him off, pulls a flying shoulder tackle. Cassidy uses the quickness. Preston catches him with a kick to the face. Cassidy rolls him to the outside where they're talking trash at him from the outside onlookers of the Kingdom. Preston then brings him back in the ring and hits a stalling vertical suplex for a 1 and a 2. We get a little commercial action, and then we're back. Cassidy delivers a suicida from in between the ropes successfully. Casita then hits a top rope as he tries for a DDT, but Preston catches him. We get some reversals back and forth, faster. And then Cassidy comes back with a few light taps on Preston's chest before rocking him with the super kick. Cassidy then takes it to the top. Preston moves away. Cassidy leaps onto Preston as he hits the fallaway slam, sending Cassidy into the Kingdom. And then gets back into the ring. Preston hits a full Nelson on Cassidy as he breaks the hold. And he hits the orange punch before hitting the beach break. And this one is over, guys. The champ retains. The champ is here. Orange Cassidy at the 12-minute mark. Alright, it's okay. Whatever. It's cool. No, it was actually an okay matchup. This match actually did have a little post-match action with the Undisputed Kingdom entering the ring, congratulating Cassidy before beating up Alex, the assistant, and tossing him to the outside. The Undisputed Kingdom then congratulates Cassidy again, telling him that his time is almost up as champion, and then they end the show. So, what did I think here? I think Orange Cassidy is popular. We know that. I think people would like to see him. Preston Vance was not taking this title from him. So, that's kind of a theme with Battle of the Belts. Not a lot of title changes. But, let's get our final thoughts. And the final thoughts on this one, we got an Orange Cassidy retention, we got a Julia Hart retention, and we got a Tag Team Championship retention with Big Bill and Ricky Starks. That's the theme of the night, folks. Battle of the Belts is meant to be the Clash of Champions of AEW. However, it feels like the Saturday morning superstars, or even I'll do you one better, Wrestling Challenge on Sunday mornings, kind of value of that. I kind of noticed a little theme with Collision becoming WWE superstar, or WWF superstars from back in the day, where there's some jobbers, or enhancement talent, if you will, wrestling on these shows. Battle of the Belts is meant to be a little enhanced version. I still like the show. I like the added value it adds to. If you go see Collision, you get to see Battle of the Belts. I think that's a great pair-up. But Battle of the Belts 9, and there has not been a lot of title changes in the history of Battle of the Belts. Only one, and that's Sammy Guevara with the TNT Championship a couple of years ago. I would like to see somebody change hands with a title on this show. However, I don't want to see that anytime soon. Maybe Battle of the Belts 10 will give us something special in that sense. Maybe a World Championship title defense for the first time ever for Battle of the Belts 10 coming within the next year. Guys, those are my final thoughts and results. Thank you again so much. I'm getting out of here. Have a great weekend. And like we say, it's not goodbye around here. It's game over.